Not every opportunity that comes your way is your dream. You know, not every opportunity that you see, that you come across, that shiny object is going to be uh, aligning with your dream. The original reason why you're put on this earth, the original reason that gets you up in the morning, the original reason that gets you excited every time that you think about it. I wanted to talk about this today just because it's something that I went through basically just a couple weeks ago. Um, Not to get too much into it, but basically to set the stage for you guys. Because the topic of today is basically not having shiny object syndrome. Let's not look at every opportunity or everything that comes up or every business opportunity or work opportunity as the thing that aligns with your dreams. If it does, then great, do it. But if it doesn't, don't do it. So basically, where I want to start the story today is I want to start maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. Right, I was at a job that I pretty much hated. I did not like going to it. It was a service advisor role, and at this company, basically the only roads that I had was to start my development into management, which could have taken years, and then also start my development into being a mechanic. Right, being a mechanic was never my dream, was never my goal in life, but I knew that the money was good, or at least decent, and it's a consistent schedule, yada yada. Even though I knew that being a mechanic could be stressful, because obviously I was assigned mechanics and I talk to them on a regular basis and I see how stressful it could be. And not to get too much into that, but basically I knew that the money was good. I needed the money at the time, so I wanted to go down that path. Right, spoke to my manager. She's like, hey, look into getting your certifications, which you either can go to school for, or obviously just studying yourself and taking tests. Right, but like I said, that was never something that I dreamt of doing since I was a kid or something, or even just recently. It was kind of just something that was like, hey, I don't like where I'm at right now. I have two options as far as staying within this company, and I told myself, that's none of those things are happening for me right now. So I'm going to start looking for another job, right? I'm going to start looking for someone that will hire me without experience to be a mechanic. That way I can get those skills, yada, yada, right? Not to get too much into it. So I found the job that I currently at now, and then I also found a apprenticeship opportunity to be a mechanic. They pay you, and they pay you to go to school. They pay you to train on the job, 40 hours, Monday through Friday. Sounds good on paper. Everything sounds great. So I'm like, okay, cool. Apply for that. Boom. Fast forward, I end up getting the job that I'm at now and not the apprenticeship. And I'm at this new job, and they haven't called me from this new place. Finally, they called me, and they're like, hey, we want to schedule an interview, yada, yada. And I go ahead and schedule the interview, and then they ghost me for like about a month or so. And fast forward to, I would think it was just a couple weeks ago from this time this video is recorded, and they basically schedule another interview. I go through it, and they basically want to put me through the apprenticeship. But the only thing is that I was only going to be making a little bit above minimum wage compared to my rate at my current job. It was like a $5 pay cut. It was crazy. But on paper, it was, getting paid to learn a new skill, Monday through Friday, which is a great schedule. You're off early. You get paid to go to like labs and stuff and do hands-on training. And then you're also put with an instructor who teaches you one-on-one, right? And then you get a college certificate after everything's done, and you have all your ASE certifications to become a mechanic and this and that. But the whole process takes 2 years. And this is what the not the instructor, but the recruiter for the apprenticeship program was telling me. And he's like, it's completely out of pocket. Like it's basically a win-win. It's a government funded program for you to learn how to be a mechanic. And I spoke to my wife about it, and she's like, it sounds great. It sounds awesome, for like somebody else basically though. And I'm not gonna lie, it hurt because, it was something that for a while I had been looking for. I'm not, like I said, not saying it was my dream, but at least from the time that I felt like I wanted to be a mechanic to that moment, I was like, hey, I've been looking for this. This is like the perfect opportunity to do this. But in the long scheme of things, when I was thinking about if it's my dream, if it's my goal, if it's something that I always wanted, right? And if you've been watching this channel, and if you're watching this channel, you're probably like me, and your goal is to, create something that pays you, even if you don't show up, create a business, start a YouTube channel, make content, and just create with my hands, and obviously doing something like that is nothing like that, and I had to make the decision to basically tell the recruiter who was trying to get me to sign up for the program, like, hey, like, I can't do this, I can't do this. I sent him a formal email just basically saying like, hey, unfortunately, I have decided to withdraw my application. At the time, I used the excuse like it was for money, because yes, if the money was okay and it sustained my life, I would do it in the meantime, almost like a plan B. But I told myself it's not what I want, and it's not what I've been dreaming of. It's and it's a big risk, and honestly, I would hate to let it go and regret it later. And that's the only reason I didn't want to say no to it. But like the topic of the video, and I'm speaking to the person directly who's watching this, like, it hurt to let go of that opportunity just because I felt like it was such a good opportunity, right? In the long scheme of things, it was going to be more money. It was going to be, getting paid to learn, which is not a lot of people can say that they're getting. And I'm not gonna lie, like it hurt to let go of that opportunity. And only because of the what ifs, right? What if this would have happened, or what if this and that? And honestly, I don't really care at this point, just because what I'm doing now is way more fulfilling to me. Not my job, but like what I'm doing right now for you guys is recording these videos, getting somebody motivated to just start something that they're passionate about. Starting a YouTube channel, starting a business, talking through these tough moments where you've gone through something, and maybe whatever you're talking about can help someone get through that. That's what gets me fired up. That's what gets me excited. I thought that in the future, what I'm doing right now can sustain my life, can sustain my family's life. Not just that, but we can also thrive, with what I'm doing, with what I'm building, and that's what I'm making this video for, that person, for you, to show you that it's hard to let go of opportunities that you feel could be good, but don't exactly align with what you want to do. Because one thing I told myself was, if I go through the program, if God allows it, He gives me health and time to go through with this program. After 2 years, I finish, get that college certificate, and get this and that, and end up at a job that most likely I'm going to end up hating. I don't know. And I mean, I don't want to say I don't know. I do know. I would end up in the same spot, in the same position, where I'm just generally like unhappy, working for somebody else, stressing over problems that aren't mine, and not just that, but like speaking to like other mechanics and speaking to other people who know mechanics, it's like they never speak about it in the best light. They always talk about it in a very negative light, right? That they don't feel appreciated at work, that they have back problems, they have all types of problems, because just being a mechanic is hard on your body. The stress of having to deal with managers, advisors, sometimes customers directly, putting a whole engine back together, and just the general stress of everything, That's not something that I really want. Don't get me wrong, I want the money and the, I guess, consistency that comes with it, but that's not really something that I'm chasing right now. It's not something that's aligning with what I want out of life. What I eventually want to say, like, hey, I do this for a living and I'm so proud of it, But yeah, that person watching you, like, if you're going through something like that, or if you have gone through something like that where you had an opportunity come to you and you're like, you know what, it doesn't quite align with what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to build, then just let it go, and don't regret it. Don't regret it, because at the end of the day, if you end up doing that thing and then say you're older, you're much older, and you feel like time has passed you by, and you're like, man, like, I didn't even want to do this. This is what I really wanted to do. And all of a sudden you feel behind. And all of a sudden also you feel like you can't leave that thing because you work so hard to achieve it, when you could have just been working hard at the thing that you really want. Even though you're maybe at a job that you're not happy with, you're not fully content with, but you know that it's serving its purpose, But nonetheless, that's kind of why I wanted to share this video, kind of share my personal experience with you about how it feels and how kind of the thought process behind letting go an opportunity that you feel could be very good, maybe in the short term, or maybe, kind of in a longer scheme of things, but then at the end of the day, it doesn't align with what you really want out of your life. But nonetheless, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. If it helps you out, or if you think it could help someone out, just drop a like, help get it to other people. But nonetheless, I'll see you guys in the next video.